awesome USA.
Welcome to the news at when, the 1400s, when the people of Europe finally discovered America, which, for a big place, was very difficult to find and even more difficult to settle in. Here with more details is Bob Hale with the American Report. Bob.
Thank you, Sam. Well, the year is 1492, and that right there is not quite America. It's what the Native Americans call Turtle Island, or Anawakawa, or Inamaka, or better still, just home. And they can call it what they like because they're the only people there, thanks to this big blue thing, the Atlantic Ocean, which has stopped them from being bothered by anyone for, about 500 years. But all that's about to change because here comes Italian explorer Christopher Columbus, the man who discovered America, right? Wrong! In fact, he only discovered these little islands down here, which he thought was India. So he's only wrong by about 8,000 miles, and that's why these islands are known as the West Indies. An interesting fact that can be found in Bob's big book of interesting facts, available now, just $12.99. Next up, then, it's another Italian, John Cabot, who in 1497 also managed to not quite discover America, landing instead up there in Newfoundland, which is also just an island, followed in 1516 by the Spanish, who land down here in Florida, which isn't an island, but they think it is, so no points there either. It's going well, isn't it? But who's this? Oh no! The English are coming! The English are coming! Yes, in 1587, Sir Walter Raleigh lands here in Virginia and sets up the very first English colony, which promptly disappears without trace. Nice one, Wally. So what does England do? Well, it tries again, of course. Yes, 1607, and back in Virginia, Jamestown is founded. And why there? Because there's gold there. But the Brits are so busy mining for gold, they forget to think about the little things like growing food. And within a couple of years, they're so hungry, they have to eat horrible things like poo and each other and sprouts and dirty water, though not sprouts, obviously. And before long, they're dropping like the sales figures on my book, which I may have mentioned earlier. So by 1625, of the 7,000 Jamestown settlers, more than 6,000 have died. Sounds like they need some reinforcements. And here they come. Yes, it's 102 very religious people from the British Midlands, the Pilgrim Fathers, who make the Jamestown lot look like the smartest men on earth. They bring no ploughs, no fishing line, no animals, and one of them does bring 139 pairs of shoes. Now, there are some very weird priorities. Luckily for the Pilgrims, the Native Americans take pity on them and hold a giant feast, and the Pilgrims give thanks, which is where Thanksgiving comes from. What an interesting fact. It's also in the book. Next to rock up, then, it's the Dutch, who land here and name the place New Amsterdam, after the Dutch city of Amsterdam, until the English steal it off them and rename it after the English city of York, which is how we get New York, see? And the Brits aren't the only ones out stealing. By 1750, everyone's at it. The French, the Spanish, the Brits, all fighting each other for land which really belongs to the Native Americans, who understandably get a bit fed up with people trying to steal it off them. So no sooner has Britain fought off the French and the Spanish than they have to start fighting the Native Americans. But not like that. Oh no, that's way too fair. Instead, they give the Native Americans blankets infected with smallpox and let the disease do the fighting for them. A plan that's as horrible as it is effective, by which I mean very. So now the British control most of East America, and that's that. All done, job finished, story over. Step back, everyone. There's nothing to see here. There is nothing to see here. Or so we thought. The problem is the government back home want these American colonists to pay British taxes, but not have any say in how that money's spent, which seems really unfair, especially since they put taxes on absolutely everything, even the one thing that no one can live without, tea! Yes, the tea tax really took the biscuit, so in 1773 the colonists stormed the tea ships in Boston Harbour and throw all the tea overboard, making a big statement, an even bigger statement of really salty tea. And that little Boston Tea Party was more than just a storm in a teacup. Within 2 years, the colonists went to war with Britain, the American Revolution. By 1776, it's goodbye, Brits, as America declares its independence.
With the Pilgrim Fathers, you may have heard rather a lot about our notion, crossing the ocean on the good ship Mayflower. Though it's true, our journey turned into quite a commotion.
People report that we sported these hats, but that's not true. I mean, would you? Anyway, the main thing to say, we began the USA, a little band of religion fans from the East Midlands.
We all believed slowly that England was becoming less holy, so set off for Holland, cause there we had friends. But in the end, seemed the Netherlands would never be the land we planned.
Couldn't stand to remain on that terrain, so again we rearranged to start a new nation with our congregation. A new and calmer life took a farmer and a builder and his wife and a clerica to find America.
Oh, it's a new world. It wasn't new to the natives. Still we thought we'd claim it. Yeah,
1620 and we saw plenty of land. We thank God when we found ground at Cape Cod, but it didn't go as planned.
Couldn't land on the sand. A month later, though, we made it. New Plymouth, man, we claimed it. The natives said not, but ran when we shot.
Moved there, it proved, yeah, that life would be tough, cause we didn't have enough of the right stuff. Did you know, had no seeds we could grow, although William Mullins had stacked 126 pairs of shoes in his pack. Now that's whack.
A fishing rod, a plough, a pig or a cow would have been a much better idea, but now there's no food for us to eat. Does this mean that we'll meet with defeat?
No fun in the new world. I'm glad we've arrived here, but will we survive here? Yeah, in the new
People were starving, our numbers halving. When the winter winds blew, even fewer lived through. It wasn't pretty in our new city, but the natives took pity even though they didn't have to.
Man called Squanto showed us how to grow maize, catch eel for a meal, build shelter in the bays. Tribe gave us a feast, our starvation ceased. In 1621, what they had done turned us back from the dead to the living. And to this day, that's why we have Thanksgiving.
In Massachusetts built a colony, it's true. They say modern America was founded by our crew. It's a new world, but we can't call it England. Let's call it New England. Yeah, it's a new
My home was in Plymouth, let's call this New Plymouth.
I got an idea, let's call this New Hampshire.
Where I'm from Newcastle, can we call it New Newcastle?
Nah.
It's a new world.
Howdy, Bill.
Why, howdy, Jim.
Here I am, bang on schedule. Although I did manage to run into an ambush again, and I had to ride all through the night in a storm, and the horse got spooked by a rattlesnake, reared up and threw me into a cactus.
Wait.
Yeah, as if my butt wasn't sore enough, having to spend 20 hours in the saddle just to deliver the mail to you. Here, this is for you, Bill.
Why, thank you kindly, Jim.
Ooh, I forgot about that.
I digged it. It says here they finished the telegraph line running right across the whole of America. So all I have to do is connect up this here telegraph machine and I should start receiving messages. Well, look at that. It works.
Now, Bill, you know there ain't nothing that can get your messages from the East Coast to the West Coast faster than the Pony Express. It only takes us 10 days.
Well, telegraph only takes 10 seconds. I got my first message. It says, Pony Express out of business, stop. Tell rider to get another job, stop.
Well, that is just a pain in the butt. Ooh, and so is that.
1 second. I got me some pliers.
Howdy. You know what you need to be a genuine cowboy? Cows. You ain't herding cattle, you ain't no cowboy.
Well, I'm a real-life cowboy, just a quiet, humble fella.
That's what we're like, apart from Mike.
Yeah, I'm more of a yeller.
Sing songs to pass the evenings,
And because it soothes the herd so they won't stampede.
unless Mike sings lead.
Shouts every single word. Mike, sorry.
Cause we're cowboys, real-life cowboys. Not like the ones you've seen on your TV.
We've never held up banks at all.
We're poorly paid.
Kinda small.
If you still wanna be a cowboy,
Stick with me. On your horse for 18 hours.
That saddle sore's a curse.
Then feed your horse.
and yourself, of course.
So beans just make it worse.
Then you're back driving cattle.
That's what being a cowboy means.
Moving those beasts from west to east.
Sorry, it's the beans.
Cause we're cowboys, real life cowboys. Not like the ones you've seen in the movies.
We're not big hunks like that, John Wayne.
Cause our horses would complain.
If you still wanna be a cowboy,
Join us, please. You should be aware we have some customs that are strange.
like saying howdy,
ride his horse.
So what if I took your old man?
Well, I'd shoot you, of course.
Fair enough.
Cowboys, real life cowboys, not like the ones you see on silver screens.
We didn't go out starting fires.
'Cause unions fought for our rights. Now Mike will do a solo thanks to beans.
How was that?
It stunk. And now, my friends, I fear that the end is drawing near. 'Cause we only ruled the range for 20 years. Yeehaw!
Dodgy War Tactics number 23. During one battle of the American Civil War, the Yankee soldiers were having a real problem getting past the rebel Confederate troops. But then one general had a brilliant idea. Why not go under them? The Yankees had hundreds of coal miners fighting for them, so they just dug a tunnel right under the rebels. They packed it full of gunpowder, lit the fuse, and blew up their enemy. The plan had worked perfectly. The Yankee troops rushed forward to capture the bomb crater. But there was one small problem. They couldn't get out again. The Confederate survivors shot them all like fish in a barrel. The enemy lost 1,500 men, but the Yankees lost twice as many.
I cannot believe that General Stonewall Jackson himself is going to be giving us our battle orders.
Yes, brilliant and fearless. No matter how heavy the enemy fire, he just stands there, unmoving, like a stone wall. He's one of our finest Confederate leaders.
Ooh, I hope it's going to be a surprise attack. He is famous for his...
Hot!
General Jackson, may I just say what an honor it is to serve under you, sir?
Oh, you have to speak up, son. A little deaf in that ear.
Just to say it's a great honor to serve under you.
No, I'm a bit deaf in that one, too.
Must be all the cannon fire.
Cannon fire? Where? Where? Hup, 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 hup. You have a map of the battlefield?
I do, sir, yes. Now, this indicates the current location of the enemy and over... Sir?
I believe he has fallen asleep.
Good morning. Right, we shall attack the enemy this way. Hup, hup, hup.
From the air? With balloons?
No, son, I'm just balancing out my arms, keeping the circulation going. My right arm is longer than the left one.
Anyway, sir, so this map shows the current position of the enemy troops. While all forces are...
Not again. Hup, 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 hup. I cannot believe this is Stonewall Jackson.
Shh, he'll hear you.
No, he won't. This man is not a legend. This man is some crazy arm-waving idiot who falls asleep all the time.
So the enemy guns face to the west. We will outflank them to the right and attack them from the east. Our troops will then approach them silently, using the long grass as cover, and we will then surprise the enemy and capture them before a single shot is fired.
Brilliant.
Yes, I suppose he does have his moments. Sir, he is dribbling on my tunic.
Well, I think this is the spot.
Yeah. So what do we do now?
We wait. According to the message, Agent Moses will meet us here, break us out the plantation, and arrange safe passage all the way to Canada.
Wow. And just think, in a few days, we won't be slaves anymore. We'll be free men.
Yeah, and this Agent Moses has already freed over 60 slaves. He must be quite a guy.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to meet him.
So, you boys got my message?
Shh. Waiting for Agent Moses.
Agent Moses is here.
Oh, brilliant. Where?
Here. I'm Agent Moses.
You're Agent Moses.
You look like my mama.
Well, we just expected you to be a dashing young man.
Yep, that's what they all expect. Especially the slave owners trying to catch me.
Oh, so that's why you're so good at this.
Yep. I'm the last person they'd expect to be freeing a whole bunch of slaves. Besides, I got myself a few disguises in case of emergency.
Let me guess. Big false beard.
Glasses and a wig. Always glasses and a wig.
No. Even better. A newspaper.
A newspaper?
You gotta be kidding me.
Hey, who's there? Who goes there? Stop, slave! What? Oh, my apologies, ma'am. I thought you might be one of those troublemaking slaves. But you're clearly an educated woman reading a newspaper, aren't you?
Indeed.
Well, good evening, ma'am.
You too.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's nothing. Wait till you see my ultimate disguise. Lady Karen Chicken.
Lady carrying a chicken? Now you got to be having a zone.
Hey, what now? Who's there? Hey, what's all that noise? Stop, slave! What? Oh, my mistake. It's just a lady carrying a chicken now. Now look at that funny little chicken. Oh, I love a chicken. Well, evening, ma'am. Oh, that crazy chicken. Oh.
Wow, that was amazing. He was so distracted by your chicken, he didn't even notice you.
Lady, either you very, very clever, or these slave owners are very, very stupid.
A little bit of both, boys. A little bit of both.
Hello and welcome to the news at When, around 70 years ago, when the United States of America and the Soviet Union, centered around modern-day Russia, decided to try and settle the growing argument over who was superior in a way that was quite literally out of this world. Here with more details on this starry story is our very own space cadet Bob Hale with the Space Race Report. Bob.
Thank you, Sam. Well, the year is 1945, World War II has just ended, and after years of having to be battle buddies, America and the Soviet Union can now finally embrace the fact that they don't much like each other. You see, these two superpowers run their countries in very different ways, called chalk and cheese. Communism and capitalism, so have grown to distrust each other intensely. But luckily, both of them captured some of the German rocket scientists who built Hitler's wartime missiles, which suggests a rather exciting way to settle which superpower is best. Rocket-back jousting. Okay, then how about using missile technology to put a man into space? Yes, the space race is on with an early lead going to America, who, to find out if it's possible for living creatures to survive space travel, start firing monkey stocks, bison, rhinos into outer space, though not rhinos. And with the Soviets following suit, soon loads of animals are sent off into starry skies, with many of them never coming back. I guess they liked it up there, or what? Oh, right. Rest in peace, guys. Anyway, now the race really starts hotting up, as both sides rush towards the next major milestone, putting a man-made craft into orbit around the Earth, with the points this time going to the Soviets! Yes, in 1957, Sputnik 1, a radio beacon the size of a beach ball, becomes the thank you. Really helpful, honestly. Yes, Sputnik becomes the first ever satellite, but America's not far behind. And in 1958, they launch Explorer 1, which is about the size of a grapefruit. Don't even think about it. And while it's even-Steven score-wise, the Soviets are now on a roll. They send an unmanned rocket right around the moon, launch a probe to photograph its surface, and in 1961, after successful tests using a dummy, yes, very funny, Russia's Yuri Gagarin becomes the first ever man in space, and America starts getting pretty sick of second place. So, in 1961, US President John F. Kennedy announces that America will attempt the impossible, to put a man on the moon. Not because it is easy, but because it is hard. The exact same reason why I keep trying to set the clock on my oven. So, a new series of rockets, known as the Apollo program, are dedicated to the moon landing. But disaster strikes when a fire during launch simulation kills the crew of Apollo 1, meaning Apollos 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 become unmanned flights to perfect the design. Until finally, in 1968, the USA gets some badly needed points when the crew of Apollo 8 become the first men in history to orbit the moon. And just 1 year later, America is finally ready to do what mankind has always dreamt of, teaching a pig to tap dance. Huh? Oh, moon landing. That makes more sense with all of this. I see. No, fine. So, Michael Collins, Buzz Aldrin, and Neil Armstrong climb aboard Apollo 11 with the aim of beating the Soviets once and for all. Their mission is simple. Fly to the moon, land on the moon, walk on the moon, leave the moon, fly home, and Bob's your uncle, though only if you're my nephews. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? Well, since the navigation computer was about as powerful as a chip inside a modern toaster, I'd say pretty much anything. But the date's been set, the cameras are primed, and the eyes of the world watch with bated breath, which is difficult for eyes, as on July the 20th, 1969, the Lunar Module Eagle separates from the Command Module Columbia and lands on the moon! Yes, the space race is finally won! A scoreboard-shattering victory to the US of A, as Neil Armstrong takes one small step for man and one giant leap for mankind. The Soviets accept defeat, wave goodbye to a moon they never reached, and turn their attentions to building space stations, leaving America to build a moon colony with a burger bar and a coffee shop, right? Wrong! In fact, only 12 people ever set foot on the moon, and no one's been there since 1972. A tragic oversight that I'm going to rectify right now. Yes, it's time to take one small step for Bob Hale, but one giant leap for the good people at Bob Hale Space Rocket Industries. Goodbye, Sam. I've always loved you. Will you wait for me?
No.
Well, I'm not going then. Fine.
I'm Rosa Parks. My story marks the first step towards civil rights. Racial inequality, American policy, till I kicked off a fight. What act of mine led havoc to ensue? How come I'll cause such fuss? Watch I sat on a bus. You sat on a bus. I sat on a bus. You sat on a bus. You wanna know why? Go ahead, tell us. I sat on that bus. You sat on a bus. In the 50s, our bus is divided. Whites in front, blacks behind. You serious? If the bus filled up, we had to give up our seats or we'd be fined. That's ludicrous. I made a stand in my hometown, Montgomery, Alabama. That's dangerous. Refused to stand for a white man, so they put me in the slammer. Discourteous. December 5, 1955, my trial notorious. Black people stood side by side, and no one got on the bus. We stayed off the bus. They stayed off the bus. We stayed off the bus. I'm at business. She inspired us. So we stayed off the bus. We stayed off the bus. We organized a boycott of public transportation to when RESPECT enforce new legislation. Dreamed of the day the USA had no implementation of SEGREGATION. Spell segregation. From that day on, we walked or cab led by Martin Luther King. Attacked by mobs or houses bombed, though peace was our thing. Our plot, it made the national news, which was mighty strange. Mysterious. When word reached the president, he had to make a change. Delirious. 1 year on, we finally won a victory momentous. The fight for national civil rights was begun. 'Cause I sat on a bus.